Well, speaking
Speaking
of
of assholes.
assholes, yeah, we could just move over to the other side of the Bay Area to my fucking A's. We could nominate David Kaval, president of the A's, or owner John Fisher for asshole of the week pretty much every week as news comes out. We have beaten the hell out of them with our segments about the new Las Vegas stadium renderings, the despicable ways they've conducted business and shit all over Oakland fans for years. And still expect them to buy tickets after raising season ticket prices last year. Uh, it's unbelievable what they've done. But sometimes I feel like we're just a couple of goofball podcasters and kind of in an echo chamber where I'm on social media following A's fans groups and just we're kind of all in agreement that the A's are the most evil organization, the most incompetent organization out there. And I feel like that's fun fodder for podcasters and bloggers and even on the radio and stuff. But we're starting to get some national coverage here, national media coverage that is kind of corroborating our feelings. As this week, there were a couple of articles that were written specifically about the A's Las Vegas stadium plan. Put that in quotes, whatever this plan is. Maury Brown from Forbes magazine. You've heard me mention his name over the years before. He's the business of baseball writer for Forbes. Really good follow on Twitter. Really good writer, but he's been covering baseball business for years. And he he did an interview with David Kaval recently, who was on his propaganda tour to sell this new stadium to the citizens of Nevada. Uh, the article starts out with this paragraph. Oakland A's president David Kaval is trying to sell sand in the desert. The thing pushed the thing is he's pushed relocation of the A's to Las Vegas so much he's having delusions of grandeur. He goes on to basically compare him to a used car salesman. He used that term, which I thought was hilarious, and I think I'm going to use that for the graphic for this segment when we eventually post it on YouTube. He told now, Maury Brown, when he was writing it, he got the impression that Kaval may have thought that this was all like off the record, the way he was speaking to him about things, because it was so outlandish. But Kaval confirmed immediately that, oh, no, you should write an article about all this. He first compared the A's stadium in Las Vegas to being likened to Camden Yards in Baltimore. This is going to be the most, what did he say? The most important venue since Orioles Park at Camden Yards in Major League Baseball. To which Maury pointed out, this will be the plan to be the smallest stadium in baseball with a weird roof that will probably never exist anyway. So to have that idea that this is the grandest stadium that will ever exist, or the most important one since the huge sea change in stadium design that the Orioles did in the early '90s, is ridiculous. He went on to say, Kaval compared the A's potential move from Oakland to Las Vegas. He compared that to the Dodgers moving from Brooklyn to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely the same, definitely in the same realm. No doubt.
Which was it was a revolution for baseball, which only existed on the east of the Mississippi River due to travel issues, and the West Coast was not all that developed at that point in the mid '50s.
Good God.
It was such a sea change in all of professional sports when the Dodgers actually moved out there with your Giants from New York. It changed the landscape of baseball immensely. It was only driven by transportation revolutions like the jet age that didn't exist before. It was so teams could actually travel out there and have a schedule. To compare the A's moving from Oakland to Las Vegas as a sea change to that level is absurd. I like the examples of the Dodgers, Kaval says. Our relocation is most similar to the Dodgers move out of Brooklyn. And that gets back to his idea that he's just got delusions of grandeur that don't exist, and he's just selling this shit as hard as he can. He can't possibly believe what he's saying. That's the MO of most used car salesmen, which I think is just a perfect way to characterize David Kaval. The national spotlight didn't end there. There's an article written in CBS Sports about how John Fisher has dropped the ball. Uh, the relocation plan is not going smoothly. Fisher has yet to come up with his end of the financing, which we got to a little bit last week, where he needs to sell the Oakland Coliseum to get his portion, which would be $150 million, I believe, to actually start to be able to finance this stadium that is apparently out there that is potentially will not exist. The team has missed multiple deadlines to release stadium renderings, which those renderings we went over last week that just came out. They were supposed to be back in December, but for whatever reason they couldn't get their shit together to actually release those. They did finally, but those were multiple deadlines they had missed at that point. And we don't even know where the A's will play from 2025 to 2027,
That's
if
the best
or
part of the
and
story.
beyond.
Yeah.
You know, beyond that, good God, the A's lost 112 games last year. I think they're going to lose more. I mean, well, again, we're good to our Nostradamus predictions, but can they even win 50 games next year? I don't see it. I don't see why. Again, I think there's going to be more fans protesting outside in their parking lot at games than actually attend these games. What kind of atmosphere that's going to be? They've slashed payroll below $60 million. This is going to be another contentious point in the new CBA that's coming in for 2027. There's got to be a floor
Yeah, there has
if
to
we're going
be
to
a
have this
floor.
if we're going to have a de facto salary cap and the luxury tax, competitive balance tax. There's got to be a floor of some sort for many organizations to be over $200 million in spending, and the A's being allowed to spend less than $60 million is pathetic.
I also think they should. I don't know if they can do this. It should be a sliding floor based on what type of market you're in.
Yeah,
To
yeah. Well, you can put
force
that.
to force someone like a Reinsdorf to have to spend, and even I
Yeah,
mean Ricketts is spending okay. They could spend more, but like force them
yeah.
to hold it at a minimum. So I don't know. That's just an
I would
idea.
I would mark this down as a bullet point for your platform to in your campaign to become commissioner in
That's right.
2029. So
That's a serious platform, not rolling back the clock
I don't know if
platform I was joking around about. This is a
I don't know
serious
if your owners
commitment.
are going to be. Yeah, I don't know if your constituency is going to be as receptive to that as the owners probably wouldn't like the idea of a floor. Hence, we don't have that yet, but we'll see
True.
how that pans out. We'll workshop that platform for you over the next several years. But the saddest part, well, it's hard to characterize what it could be the most sad thing with the A's organization is they also have the worst farm system in baseball by almost everyone's measure. And that
Wow.
has never been the case,
Nope.
at least in the last 25 years. At least they had the farm system to lean on. If they chose not to spend money, they could bring up some of the best talent in baseball to supplement that roster and remain competitive. But not only are they slashing payroll and refusing to field a major league club, they don't have the prospects to replenish that in the future, in the present or the future. So the situation is so dire, and it's simply because John Fisher has chosen to let his franchise erode and fall into decay, just to be able to move it to another city and sell them the same bullshit.
You know what's crazy about that type of plan is it always backfires, and if I'm looking at it from Las Vegas's point of view, why do I want this team?
It's
Like
such a negative, yeah,
the way the owners run it and run it into the ground to manipulate a move. Well, what's to say when he's tired of, if he's still in control, when he's tired of Vegas, that he doesn't do the same thing again? Like, do I don't want this guy in my town.
yeah. They have diminished their own brand to such levels where I think that's very plausible. And that might be some of the blowback and why this move to Vegas, why Vegas might not be all that receptive to receiving such a shitty franchise. Like why would anyone be excited about that coming to their city?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Actually, Maury Brown brought this up to David Kaval directly, who seems completely oblivious to how his brand is perceived. He thinks they're the Dodgers. He said, you've stated that you're not interested in rebranding the team when you move to Vegas. They're going to be the Athletics. They're going to be the A's. They're going to be in green and gold. But he's like, why wouldn't you consider that, you might need a brand new team name to get a fresh start, like to get what this decay and this stench you've created. You might want to consider a brand new team name, new colors. There's so much you could do with Las Vegas for branding. They're not interested because they think their brand is so solid. That's how delusional they really are. That's the delusions of grandeur that Forbes is getting at. So it's going to get worse before it gets better. And fortunately, as we've seen and we talked about last week, the fans in Oakland are standing up to him. The facade that the A's are putting out there is crumbling. I'm actually kind of really excited to see what happens in Oakland this year as this season starts. I want to see what those protests look like. I want to support them from 2,000 miles away, however we can. So, in a grotesque way, I'm actually looking forward to this season starting in Oakland. What it's going to actually look like.
We're
Kind
here.
of like a car crash.
Yeah,
The Gapers block.
we're gonna figure out a way to protest locally. So I know
Yeah, you and I
there's
need
some
to talk
interest
about that some
there. There's
more.
some interest there.
Yeah,
So
we reached out to the documentarians that are making season of or summer of Cell. They seemed a little bit receptive to our whatever you call it. I reached out to them just to tell them we support them. I don't know what we can really do from here, but I think they appreciated that people in Chicago and Detroit are on their side at least. They definitely want to make this a nationwide movement against the A's brass.
Word Hole Media.